Some people may not know much about Cambodia, but it's a really beautiful country. With rice paddies and rivers, a vibrant, bustling city, and new opportunities for development, it's a wonderful mix of technology and tradition. And the people are joyous and welcoming. Cambodia was impacted severely after a civil war in the 1970s. Every industry suffered, and recovery took a very long time. Cambodian sports stars had their dreams dashed, and not many survived the war. As peace gradually made its way into the country in the 1990s, the sports industry slowly began to develop once more, and athletes started training for competitions. In 1996, Cambodia rejoined the world's biggest sporting stage at the Olympic Games in Atlanta.
Le Cambodge.
Cambodia.
And just 10 years later, Cambodia's first Olympic star was born. Samse Mai, a 20-year-old from the capital city of Phnom Penh, practices Taekwondo both day and night. As a newcomer to the sport when she was in her mid-teens, she's been a quick learner and loves what she does. She also loves to laugh, and her friends call her Mai. But when she is training, it starts to get serious. Her focus is incredible, and so are her moves. Incredibly, Mai made sporting history for Cambodia in 2014 when she won gold at the Asian Games, a multi-sport competition involving the best athletes from 45 countries. Since 1994, teams of Cambodians went to the Asian Games, but no one ever won gold. Who would expect a teenager competing in Taekwondo to break the drought and become Cambodia's golden girl?
ពេលដែលឡើងយកមេដាយហ្នឹងសប្បាយចិត្តក៏សប្បាយចិត្តហើយពេលហ្នឹងគឺរំភើបខ្លាំងមែនតើដោយសារតែភ្លេងទង់ជាតិយើងគឺត្រូវចាក់ឡើងហើយ45ប្រទេសដែលចូលរួមនៅក្នុងការប្រកួតហ្នឹងគឺត្រូវងើបឈរទាំងអស់ដើម្បីគោរពទង់ជាតិរបស់ភ្លេងខ្មែរយើងហើយទង់ជាតិរបស់ខ្មែរក៏នៅលើគេទាំងអស់ដែរអញ្ចឹងវាធ្វើអារម្មណ៍ខ្ញុំវានិយាយទៅគឺសប្បាយខ្លាំងមែនតើហ្មងបងពេលចុះមកដល់គឺខ្ញុំអត់បានស្រឡឹងទៅមើលខាងក្រោយទេខ្ញុំស្រឡឹងមកមើលថ្នាក់ដឹកនាំដែលគាត់បានមកទទួលខ្ញុំហ្នឹងហើយពេលដែលខ្ញុំទទួលកំងផ្កាពីគាត់ហើយគឺងាកទៅមើលខាងក្រោយមានបងប្អូនខ្ញុំទាំងអស់ទាំងនៅខេត្តទាំងអីគឺគាត់ឡើងមកទទួលខ្ញុំទាំងអស់មានម៉ាក់ខ្ញុំមានអីនៅនឹងទាំងអស់គ្នាហើយពេលដែលខ្ញុំបានទៅផ្ទះម៉ាក់ហើយក៏ងាកទៅមើលខាងក្រោយម៉ាក់ទៀតមានបងសារព័ត៌មានក៏ដូចជាកូនសិស្សបងប្រុសខ្ញុំទូចមាន 4-5 ឆ្នាំក៏មករួមច្រើនមែនតើហើយមានអ្នកខ្លះមកពីខាងសាលាកីឡាក៏ដូចជាកីឡាករកីឡាការិនីគាត់មកទទួលខ្ញុំដែរហើយគាត់លើកាន់ហ្គីតាគាត់ច្រៀងបទចម្រៀងខ្ញុំបើតាមខ្ញុំចាំគឺជាបទហ្នឹងដូចជាបទចំណងជើងទង់ជាតិខ្មែរហើយគាត់កាន់กระดาษម្នាក់មកស្លឹកអញ្ចឹងហើយពេលដែលខ្ញុំដើរមកស្ដាប់នឹងសំឡេងដែលគាត់ស្រែកហៅខ្ញុំគាត់ស្រែកថាពិតជាអស្ចារ្យខ្លាំងណាស់អញ្ចឹងហើយស្ដាប់ជាមួយនឹងសំឡេងដែលគាត់ស្រែកផងជាមួយចម្រៀងដែលគាត់ច្រៀងផងវាធ្វើឲ្យរំភើបខ្លាំងមែនទែនហើយទឹកភ្នែកក៏ហូរមកហើយមួយទៀតពិតជាមានអារម្មណ៍ថារំភើបកាន់តែខ្លាំងនោះព្រោះថាពួកគាត់ពិតជាផ្ដល់ភាពកក់ក្ដៅខ្ញុំខ្លាំងមែនទែនដោយសារតែពេលហ្នឹងភ្លៀងផងហើយគាត់មកជាមកទទួលចាំខ្ញុំទាំងមិនភ្លៀងខ្ញុំពេលដែលខ្ញុំឡើងឡានហាមកដល់ទីស្តីការគឺគាត់ជិះទាំងភ្លៀងជិះម៉ូតូទាំងភ្លៀងមកហាខ្ញុំមកដល់ទីស្តីការវាជាអារម្មណ៍មួយដែលកក់ក្ដៅសម្រាប់ខ្ញុំហើយក៏ជាអារម្មណ៍ដែលខ្ញុំអត់អាចភ្លេចអ្វីដែលពួកគាត់ផ្ដល់មកឲ្យខ្ញុំបានដែរ
Growing up, Mai was never interested in sports. Her passion was fashion. The youngest of 6 kids, her siblings looked out for her, especially after her dad died. Her mom had to find work in a garment factory, and her siblings began competing in martial arts to earn extra money for the family. Mai was left to look after herself, so most of her meals were just instant noodles. បងស្រីខ្ញុំគាត់ចូលហាត់មុនខ្ញុំចាអញ្ចឹងហើយម៉ាក់ជិះកង់ដប់ខ្ញុំពីក្រោយមកហើយគាត់ធ្វើផ្អែមមកចានស្រាក់ផ្អែមជីខ្ទិះអីចឹងគាត់យកមកឲ្យបងស្រីខ្ញុំនៅស្តាទៅ
Cambodia.
ពេលដែលតាហាត់ហ្នឹងមានអារម្មណ៍ថាអូយហាត់អីហត់ណាមើលអញញ៉ៃពេញហ្នឹងហើយមនុស្សស្រីចង់និយាយថាគេធ្លាប់តែរៀបថាលាបក្រែមលាបអីស្អាតបាតអីចឹងហើយមើលហាត់ទៅអត់មានបានធ្វើអីមាត់ឡើងស្លេកអីចឹងខ្ញុំគិតខ្លួនឯងចឹងហើយបាច់វាហូរឡើងហាមសក់អញញ៉ៃកធិងកធឹងពេញហ្នឹងខ្ញុំថាអូយអត់ឆ្លាញ់អត់អីទេចឹងហើយគាត់ថាត្រូវតែជំរុញខ្ញុំលើកទឹកចិត្តខ្ញុំដើម្បីឲ្យខ្ញុំខំប្រឹងទៅអាជីពហ្នឹងព្រោះថាកម្ពស់ខ្ញុំវាកើតមកវាអំណោយផលស្រាប់ហើយពេលដែលចូលហាត់ទៅហ្នឹងគឺហាត់បាន2ថ្ងៃគឺចង់ឈប់ហ្មងចង់រត់ចោល start ហ្មងលេងចង់ទៅហ្មងហើយពេលដែលចូលហាត់ដំបូងហ្នឹងពិបាកខ្ញុំនិយាយរួមទៅយើងឈឺខ្លួនខ្លាំងមែនតើពេលថ្ងៃខ្លះខ្ញុំមានតែមកដល់ផ្ទះវិញធ្វើគេងពុតឈឺអត់ទៅហាត់ទេប៉ុន្តែដោយសារតែមានការជំរុញពីម៉ាក់ខ្ញុំមានការលើកទឹកចិត្តពីបងស្រីខ្ញុំគាត់ថាបើសិនជាខ្ញុំអត់ចាប់អ្វីមួយឲ្យច្បាស់នៅលើខ្លួនឯងគឺអនាគតទៅគេហៅថារុញអាទិលក់លៀសអញ្ចឹងគាត់តែងតែថាខ្ញុំឬក៏ធ្វើការរោងចក្រព្រោះថាពីមុនហ្នឹងខ្ញុំពេលអត់តន់ចូលហាត់ហ្នឹងម៉ាក់ខ្ញុំក៏ធ្លាប់យកខ្ញុំទៅធ្វើការរោងចក្រម្សៅដែរហើយប៉ុន្តែក្មេងពេកចូលបានមួយថ្ងៃស្លាប់នៅក្នុងរោងចក្រដោយសារខ្ញុំខ្សោយតាំងពីក្មេងគេឲ្យខ្ញុំឈរ1ម៉ោងខ្ញុំវិលមុខខ្ញុំស្លាប់ហើយម៉ាក់ខ្ញុំគាត់ឲ្យខ្ញុំមកផ្ទះវិញ
The Son family is really tall. Mai was disappointed as an early teen because she couldn't wear high heels. She was already taller than all her friends. Some people said she was ugly tall, like a palm tree. But her height was a huge advantage as she began training in Taekwondo.
ចូលពេលដែលចូលហាត់គឺជាប់ដៃជាប់ជើងបាក់ដៃអីចឹងគឺវាមានស្នាមមកលើខ្លួនខ្ញុំច្រើនណាអញ្ចឹងនិយាយរួមទៅតម្រាំតែទទួលយកនៅអ្វីដែលខ្លួនឯងថាដាក់ចិត្តទៅបើចូលជាស្នាមខ្លួនប៉ុណ្ណឹងហើយខ្ញុំត្រូវតែធ្វើមិនបន្តទៅមុខទៀតអញ្ចឹងក៏សម្រាប់ចិត្តចូលហាត់ហើយក៏ដាក់ចិត្តថានឹងខំដើម្បីខ្លួនឯងក៏ដូចជាខំដើម្បីគ្រួសារហើយពេលដែលខ្ញុំដាក់ចិត្តថាខ្ញុំចូលហាត់ហើយក៏ចាប់ដើមថាស្រឡាញ់តែTaekwondoរហូតហើយពេលដែលចូលហាត់ហ្នឹងគឺវាមានអនុស្សាវរីយ៍ល្អៗមកលើខ្ញុំក៏ដូចជាមានស្នាមច្រើននៅលើខ្លួនខ្ញុំវាធ្វើឲ្យខ្ញុំចាំវាធ្វើឲ្យខ្ញុំថាមិនអាចបោះបង់នៅពាក្យកណ្ដាលទីចោលចា៎
Within a year of training, Coach Choi told Mai she was ready to go to the Southeast Asia Games, a competition between 11 nations. After positive results there, he announced they would be going to the Asian Games. Instead of 11 countries, she would now face opposition from 45 nations. That's why it felt so unbelievable when Mai won gold in Taekwondo, beating every other competitor she came up against. Cambodians had dreamt for such a long time of succeeding in sports and being recognized by other countries. And now it had finally happened. Mai had put Cambodia on the map. And perhaps best of all, many Cambodians were now becoming interested in sports. What an incredible victory! Not only for the teenage girl, but also for her whole nation. 2 years later, Mai would take her sporting success to the next level. After a grueling 2016 Olympic Games qualifying tournament in the Philippines, Mai made history for Cambodia when she became the first Cambodian to qualify for the Olympic Games on her own merit.
That at the end of this round, Cambodia will be awarded the gold medal here in the Asian Qualifications Tournament, and that is Safety Sword lording over Kirsty Elaine Alora of the Philippines.
Taekwondo made its first Olympic appearance as a demonstration sport at the 1988 Olympic Games held in Seoul, the capital city of South Korea. 6 years later, the sport officially became part of the Olympic program and eventually made its official Olympic debut at Sydney 2000. And even as the sport continues to grow globally, the South Koreans have remained a dominant force in the sport. Invited by the Cambodian government 20 years ago, Choi Yong-sok left Korea, where he was born and raised, to be the national Taekwondo coach for Cambodia. Today, he considers Cambodia his home and is still passionate about his position. As a Taekwondo master with years of experience, Choi Young-suk was excited about the challenge of taking on a teenager who didn't like sport and turning her into a gold medalist.
태권도는 순수한 우리 한국 언어로 형성이 되었기 때문에 차고, 권, 찌르고, 도, 정신적인 어떤 그런 것까지 컨셉을 해서 일단 사람의 인간의 태권도는 이제 우리 한국의 전통 무술로 2000년 전으로 거슬러 올라가서 실질적으로 호국, 그러니까는 어떤 자기 방어랑 어떤 프로텍터, 어떤 그런 부분들의 자기 방어와 어떤 국가의 어떤 무술로 일단은 성장을 하게 됐고요. 그런 것들이 변화되어지고 발전되어져서 현재의 태권도까지 이렇게 형성이 되어졌습니다.
The sport must never be used to attack, but the values it teaches, like self-control, perseverance, and respect, must become part of an athlete's life.
ភាគច្រើនតៃក្វាន់ដូញោះអីអត់បានទេញោះបានតែមួយឯងចូលហាត់គឺវាយយើងមកវាយឲ្យយើងខឹងវាយឲ្យយើងអីចឹងទៅគាត់វាយចឹងថាពេលគាត់ទាត់មកទៅហឹងដែរហើយពេលហ្នឹងក្មេងឲ្យតែទាត់មួយជើងមកទឹកភ្នែកនឹងយំហ្មងយីរួមគេហៅតារាទឹកភ្នែកឲ្យតែពេលគេវាយយីរួមហាត់ថ្ងៃណាគឺខ្ញុំយំរាល់ថ្ងៃឲ្យតែមកដល់ផ្ទះវិញចឹងទូរស័ព្ទទេទៅបងស្រីខ្ញុំនៅកូរ៉េយំអ្នកនេះទាត់អញ្ចេះអ្នកនោះទាត់អញ្ចោះហើយបងស្រីខ្ញុំគាត់ថាខំប្រឹងហើយខំប្រឹងហាត់លើក្រោយហាត់ឲ្យប៉ាកែលើក្រោយវាយគេវិញពេលខ្ញុំចូលដំបូងគឺហត់ខ្ញុំខឹងគាត់ខ្លាំងណាស់ពេលខ្ញុំចូលហាត់ដំបូងបាន 4-5 6 ខែហ្នឹងមានអារម្មណ៍ថាបើនិយាយចេញទៅគឺអាគ្រូគឺស្អប់គ្រូឲ្យតែឃើញមកគ្រូធ្វើចឹងហើយមានអារម្មណ៍ថាដូចខឹងគាត់អត់ខ្ញុំថាចេះមិនបានអត់យល់ពីអារម្មណ៍ខ្ញុំអត់យល់ថាខ្ញុំហាត់ឈឺខ្លួនថាខ្ញុំហត់ខ្ញុំទាត់គាត់ឲ្យខ្ញុំទាត់10ជើងខ្ញុំទាត់បានតែ7ជើងទេហើយខ្ញុំហត់ខ្លាំងគាត់ថានៅតែមកឲ្យទៅគាត់នៅតែស្ដីឲ្យយើងអីទៅថាទាត់ឲ្យគ្រប់ចឹងហើយខ្ញុំខឹងថាមិនបានអត់យល់ពីខ្ញុំហើយខ្ញុំហត់ណាស់ខ្ញុំទៅអត់រួចទេខ្ញុំពិតជាធ្វើអត់បាន10ជើងហ្នឹងទេប៉ុន្តែបើខ្ញុំយកអារម្មណ៍ខ្ញុំមកគិតថាគាត់ស្ដីឲ្យខ្ញុំរាល់ថ្ងៃគាត់ថាខ្ញុំរាល់ថ្ងៃគឺមិនមែនដើម្បីខ្លួនគាត់ទេគាត់ធ្វើដើម្បីខ្ញុំគាត់ចង់ឲ្យខ្ញុំដូចនៅពេលនេះចឹង
Respect in Taekwondo is extremely important, and the tradition of bowing to an opponent is carried out in every match. Cambodians are giving more attention to sports now than ever before. And since Mai's win at the Asian Games, Taekwondo has become very popular among the youth of Phnom Penh. Centers that teach this Korean art of self-defense are popping up all over the place. Mai herself started a club for children. It's her dream to make Taekwondo accessible all over Cambodia so that even kids in the provinces have a chance to try sports.
제가 지난주 한 주간 동안에 한국에서 코치하고 레프리하고 합동 트레이닝 캠프를 다녀왔습니다. 거기에는 이번에 모든 올림픽 코치들과 이번에 참가하는 모든 국가의 코치 감독들이 같이 공유하면서 정보를 공유하고 룰이라던가 어떤 진행에 대한 어떤 인포메이션이나 이런 것들을 다 서로 공유를 하고 서로 대화도 나누고 부족한 부분들 또 수정해야 될 부분들을 같이 의논하고 어떤 그런 계기들이 있었기 때문에 앞으로 남은 기간 동안에 거기에서 얻은 어떤 그런 부분들을 최대한으로 활용해서 좋은 결과를 얻기 위해서 노력을 하고 있습니다. 쉽게 얘기해서 이 몸통 부분들을 가격했을 때는 1포인트가 되고요. 그 다음에 힙, 이 헤드를 키킹했을 때는 3포인트가 됩니다. 그리고 또 만약에 터닝으로 해서 힙을 했을 경우에는 1포인트가 플러스 돼서 최고 4포인트까지 얻을 수 있는 어떤 그런 경기 시스템이 되어 있었고요.
The World Taekwondo Federation continues to make Taekwondo games that are energetic and exciting. Coaches can request instant video replays to ensure against judging errors and a protector and scoring system which has been used since the 2012 Olympic Games. This will register valid kicks to the body, making it easier for referees to judge, easier for the public to understand, and more attractive for the media and TV. Coach Choi believes his job is a privilege and that Mai is better than he was at her age.
마이는 실질적으로 태권도에 대한 운동에 대한 재능이 타고난 친구라고 생각하시면 됩니다.
There may be many more people like Mai in Cambodia with natural sporting talent, but unless they are identified and assisted to train, Cambodia and the world will never know their names. In many Olympic sports, there are often skilled athletes who can't afford the training costs they need to pursue their dream of winning an Olympic gold medal for their country. That's why one of the Olympic Solidarity World programs offers scholarships for elite athletes from nations with the greatest needs, to ensure that athletes with talent have an equal chance of reaching the Olympic Games and succeeding in the Olympic arena. In the lead-up to the Rio Games, the National Olympic Committee of Cambodia gave scholarships to 5 young Cambodians. This meant their training and equipment costs were covered as they worked hard to make it through their qualifying rounds. Interestingly, 3 out of 5 of the scholarships were awarded to females. This is a great message to send to young people about gender equality. Previously, famous boxing and soccer athletes in Cambodia have all been men, and Taekwondo has not been well known. So Mai's win at the Asian Games and becoming Cambodia's first Olympic star is certainly changing people's perceptions.
តែខ្ញុំគិតថាខ្ញុំជាមនុស្សស្រីម្នាក់តែខ្ញុំអាចធ្វើវាបានហើយខ្ញុំគិតថាមនុស្សស្រីជាច្រើនមិនថាតែខ្ញុំទេគឺមនុស្សស្រីទូទាំងពិភពលោកក៏អាចធ្វើវាបានដូចខ្ញុំដែរប៉ុន្តែសំខាន់គឺពួកគាត់ចង់ធ្វើវាឬអត់ខ្ញុំគិតថាបើសិនជាគាត់ចង់ធ្វើអ្វីមួយដែលគាត់កំណត់របស់គាត់ចង់បានគាត់សង្សឹកគាត់ស្រឡាញ់ខ្ញុំគិតថាពួកគាត់អាចធ្វើបានដូចគ្នាមិនថាតែខ្ញុំឬក៏អ្នកផ្សេងៗទេ
Without any financial pressure, Mai could concentrate on her physical fitness and gameplay. She could keep her mind focused on winning the competition to be included in an Olympic team. So what exactly does it look like for an athlete with a scholarship as they prepare to qualify in the Olympic Games?
គេមានថ្ងៃគេញ៉ាំបន្លែគេមានថ្ងៃគេញ៉ាំសាច់ញ៉ាំអីអញ្ចឹងប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំប្រាប់ទៅគាត់ថាអត់ទេខ្ញុំចង់ញ៉ាំអីខ្ញុំញ៉ាំហ្នឹងម៉ាក់ខ្ញុំគាត់ថាចេះមនុស្សស្រីគេអត់ទៅចូលចិត្តឲ្យញ៉ាំឆាទ្រាប់ទេគាត់ថាអត់ល្អខ្ញុំតែខ្ញុំដឹងអត់ល្អហេតុអីទេប៉ុន្តែសម្រាប់ខ្ញុំថាអត់ខ្ញុំអត់ដឹងថាល្អមិនល្អទេសំខាន់ខ្ញុំចង់ញ៉ាំហើយខ្ញុំគាត់ថាញ៉ាំទៅឆ្ងាញ់ខ្ញុំបានញ៉ាំហើយខ្ញុំសប្បាយចិត្តពេលដែលខ្ញុំអត់បានញ៉ាំពេលដែលខ្ញុំគេងទៅខ្ញុំសប្បាយថាមុខម្ហូបហ្នឹងដូចម្ជូរដូចប្រហុកច្រាមជាមួយម្ជូរអីចឹងម៉ាក់ថាកុំឲ្យទៅញ៉ាំពេកវាអត់ល្អម្ជូរអញ្ចឹងគាត់ថាញ៉ាំទៅអ្នកកីឡាញ៉ាំអញ្ចឹងវាអត់មានបើកម្លាំងបើអីកើតទេប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំថាអត់ទេពេលដែលខ្ញុំអត់បានញ៉ាំអ្វីដែលខ្ញុំចង់ញ៉ាំដូចម្ជូរអីចឹងប្រហុកច្រាមអីចឹងខ្ញុំថាខ្ញុំគេអត់លក់ទេ
To compete in such a physically demanding sport, Mai has to maintain a high level of fitness. That's why aerobic exercise is a major part of her training. Every day, she either runs, cycles, or swims to get her heart rate up high. In the gym, she lifts weights to build and strengthen her muscles. When she started, she was very weak. But now, Mai says that she can lift more weight than some men.
ពួកក្បាច់តែក្បដូពិបាកដែរបើមិនយើងហាត់វាហើយយើងអត់ចេះយើងតែព្យាយាមធ្វើវាហើយប៉ុន្តែវាខុសជាមួយពេលដែលយើងឡើងប្រកួតក្បាច់ហ្នឹងយើងរៀនរាល់ថ្ងៃប៉ុន្តែពេលដែលឡើងប្រកួតវាអាចពិបាកពេលឡើងប្រកួតយើងអាចពេលវាយគ្នាទៅយើងអាចពិបាកតែក្បាច់ដែលយើងរៀនរាល់ថ្ងៃហ្នឹងតែសម្រាប់ខ្ញុំគិតថាពិបាកខ្លាំងដោយសារតែពេលខ្លះយើងដាក់អារម្មណ៍ពេក យើងប្រើអារម្មណ៍ខ្លាំងជាមួយនឹងការហាត់ជាមួយនឹងស្នៀតផ្សេងប៉ុន្តែវាធ្វើឲ្យខួរក្បាលរបស់យើងហ្នឹងវាគិតតែរឿងហ្នឹងមួយអញ្ចឹងពេលខ្លះវាធ្វើឲ្យខ្ញុំវាដូចជា stress ដែរប៉ុន្តែទោះបីជាវាពិបាកយ៉ាងណាក៏ខ្ញុំអត់ប្រឈប់វាដែរដោយសារថាតែក៏ដូគឺត្រូវតែព្យាយាមហាត់រាល់ថ្ងៃទោះបីជាក្បាច់ហ្នឹងពិបាកក៏ដោយប៉ុន្តែយើងត្រូវតែមកហាត់ឲ្យរាល់ថ្ងៃដើម្បីកម្លាំងរបស់យើងក៏ដូចជាបើយើងសម្រាប់តាមមួយថ្ងៃគឺកម្លាំងរបស់យើងវានឹងថយចុះចាអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំត្រូវតែទោះបីពិបាកប៉ុណ្ណាក៏ខ្ញុំត្រូវតែព្យាយាមហាត់ថ្ងៃ
A commitment to train and prepare to qualify for the Olympic Games requires a lot of emotional support. Mei's mom is great at making sure her daughter relaxes now and then. By watching other athletes' strategies, Mei and her coach can discuss how to counter their moves if she was facing them as her opposition. Without the Olympic scholarship, Mei wouldn't be able to commit so much time to her training. By identifying Mei as a potential Olympian and supporting her financially, the Olympic Solidarity Program and the National Olympic Committee of Cambodia have set her up with a great chance of competing at the highest level in her sport at the Olympic Games. Cambodia has only entered 8 Olympic Games since 1956. To promote equality and universality, athletes from developing countries like Cambodia have been granted an opportunity to participate at the Games by invitation. No Cambodian has ever qualified to be in the Games through their own performance, up until Mei changed the course of history for her country. At the 2016 Taekwondo's Olympic qualification tournament in the Philippines, Mei's tactic was to stay focused in her matches and not to think about anything other than winning. It was a bit daunting when she came up against the Philippines' most loved and skilled Taekwondo star, as the home crowd was rooting for her. So when Mei won her qualifying event, it was cause for her family, her coach, and her whole country to celebrate.
And we will now determine who will be the gold medalist for the female over 67 kilogram category here in the Asian qualification tournament. 2 minutes start now for this round, this first of 3.
A Cambodian athlete had made it to the Olympic Games on her own merit. Cambodia's golden girl had registered another sporting moment in the nation's history.
ពេលដែលឃើញប្រជាពលរដ្ឋខ្មែរគាំទ្រខ្ញុំគាត់តែងតែផ្ដល់ក្តីសង្ឃឹមដែលគាត់មានមកលើខ្ញុំមានតែតបស្នងទៅគាត់ដោយការខិតខំបន្តទៀតហើយនឹងធ្វើឲ្យបាននៅគោលបំណងទាំងខ្ញុំទាំងគាត់ខ្ញុំនឹងប្រឹងឲ្យអស់ពីសមត្ថភាពរបស់ខ្ញុំដើម្បីការតបស្នងទៅពួកគាត់ទាំងអស់គ្នា
Mei has her own YouTube channel and regularly uploads videos. She wants to engage with her fans and help to bring a sense of unity amongst the people of Cambodia. Mei is also happy to use her fame to build greater international awareness for Cambodia.
Since becoming Cambodia's first Olympic star and inspiration, Mei has had the opportunity to travel around the world, to train with the world's best, to prepare herself to compete against the world's best. Mei has also been kept busy by the local media. Appearing on local TV and radio stations, she continues to be one of Cambodia's favorite people. Even the Prime Minister posted his encouragement for Mei on Facebook. He told her she was bringing success to their whole nation.
ការទៅបានចូលរួមអូឡ িম্প ិកគឺសម្រាប់ខ្ញុំវារំភើបខ្លាំងជាងដោយសារតែហាត់ដូចនិយាយយ៉ាងថាទោះបីជាខ្ញុំចង់ហាត់ចង់ឈប់ក៏គាត់អត់ឲ្យឈប់ដែរអញ្ចឹងហើយវាធ្វើឲ្យខ្ញុំស៊ាំតែទៅអូឡ িম্প ិកនេះវាជាការរំភើបរបស់ខ្ញុំខ្លាំងជាងចា
With millions of people watching, the Olympic Games are the ultimate dream for any determined athlete to participate in. It requires commitment, dedication, and perseverance to become an Olympian. The Olympic Games is also more than just a big sporting event. It brings the world together with the belief that sports can build a peaceful and better world.
Camboja!
For Mai to be appointed the flag bearer for Cambodia at her first Olympic Games in Rio has inspired a country and a generation to look to their future with a fresh hope. In a nation that has only recently come out of a painful past and is still developing, Mai's success in putting Cambodia on the map of the world's biggest sporting stage will go a long way to inspire change and progress. Change in the perception of sports, in the lives of women, and ultimately her nation, Cambodia.